How far will the new entry-level Tesla Model 3 Standard Range Plus go on a full charge in reality? And how much further will the more expensive long-range performance go? What about a Polestar 2? How far will that go on a full charge in reality? Will it go further than the entry-level Tesla? Will it get close to the Model 3 performance? We're going to find out in this video. We're also going to find out what happens when they do run out of charge. Do they slowly bring you to a halt, nice and steady? Or do they suddenly just conk out and leave you stranded? Well, to find out, I'm going to drive these cars non-stop around the M25 until they're completely out of charge. Here we go again, another EV range test.
Buying a new car? Then head to Carwow and my team will help you find your next car at a fair price. Carwow, your one-stop car buying comparison site.
This is going to take a bit of a while, I think. Fortunately, we'll edit the video down for you so that it's manageable. You don't have to live it with me real time. This Tesla has a full battery and I've got 249 miles of range. That's what it reckons it's going to be able to do. Richard, in the Model 3 Performance, how much range does it say your car has right now?
307 miles of estimated range.
So you've got almost 60 miles more than me. Again, it's in the Polestar 2. What's the range that it's saying it's got?
At the moment, I have left 260 miles of range.
Not really much more than me, just a little over 10 miles. So it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out between this entry-level Tesla and that Polestar 2. Who's your money on, the Tesla or the Polestar?
My money is on the Tesla, just about.
And Gintz, in the Polestar 2, what do you reckon?
I have a feeling that Tesla's still going to win this.
Well, we shall see. So we have some rules of the game. We're going to drive these cars like we'd be driving them normally. That involves going at the speed limit. We can eke out as far as we can get to make sure we get somewhere close to a charge before we conk out. If you want the heater on, you have the heater on. If you want the heated seat on, you have it on. You operate it like you would your own car. There's no point driving a car that costs over £40,000 and not having the heated seat on if your bottom is cold, is there? Otherwise, why pay all that money? Let me tell you a little bit about this Tesla Model 3 Standard Range Plus. So it starts from just over £40,000. They have a single electric motor, it drives the rear wheels, and it puts out 271 horsepower, 405 Newton meters of torque, which I think that's not a lot when you compare it to the Performance, which has over 400 horsepower, but it's still really quick. Look, I'm doing 50 miles an hour, I'm going to accelerate. Watch this. That's 70 like that. It's rapid. You still get that electric car instant acceleration buzz, even from 50. Makes it fun, though that does use up your charge, so I'm not going to do that too often. Sorry to interrupt the video, but I need to tell you about the Carwow Spring Special Offers. So we've got some excellent deals on a range of cars, including brand new 21 plate cars available now. If you want to check them out, click on the pop-out banner on the top right-hand corner of the screen. Follow the link in the description or in the pinned comment. One problem though, offer ends 31st of March, so you better hurry up. Just to give you some context of where we are on the M25, this is the exit here for Brands Hatch Racing Circuit. It's one for the petrol heads, not the EV heads. We're probably going to see that again in about an hour and a half, 2 hours. We're reaching another landmark, and this is the Dartford Crossing. There's the bridge, which is for clockwise. We're going anti-clockwise around the M25, so we're going to take the tunnel. Now, I've got to remember to pay the toll charge for this, because in the past you used to stop at a barrier, but that caused traffic jams. So what they do now is just read your number plate. The problem with that is that you go use it and you forget to pay it later on because, you know, you've got a busy life and stuff, and then you get a fine through the post. Oh, my headlights have come on automatically. Speaking of which, the headlights on the Tesla Model 3 have been upgraded. They are now matrix LEDs, though bizarrely they don't work fully in the usual matrix way of blanking out part of their beam, because Tesla is still working on the software to do that, and once they figured it out, they'll update it remotely. So you have matrix LEDs that can't do matrix LED stuff for now. Anyway, we're exiting the tunnel now. Right, we're doing a quick emergency pit stop, getting off the motorway very quickly. Now this would be an opportunity where I'd probably get and charge the car a little bit while I'm having a wee. Actually I wouldn't, because I'm absolutely bursting and I won't be able to hold it in while I'm trying to plug the car in and all that kind of faff. What's that all about? It's because I accelerated then to get over the box junction. Thought I was going to crash into the back of the Polestar. It's got a nice rear end, that car has. Really good looking. It looks way better than the Teslas. It really does. It's a nice bit of design. The Teslas, there's something a little bit kind of guppy-like about them. You know what I mean? That Polestar. It's slightly raised up as well. It's quite tall. It still looks like a normal hatch, but it's taller. Oh, God, I feel so relieved now. That was awful. That was auto brake facility. The car spotted that that wasn't moving and I wasn't paying enough attention, and it auto braked the car, otherwise I'd have crashed into him, and I've annoyed the lorry drivers behind me. In fact, there's a big chain of lorry drivers behind me. Oops, don't want to annoy them. Accident averted. Love the safety systems on this thing. Really, really good. Although I might just die by getting beaten up by lorry drivers. Okay, back on the M25, feeling more relaxed. This Tesla has 73% of its battery left. What that means in terms of remaining range, I have to press this button here, go onto display, swipe up to change that from energy display to energy into distance, and now it says I've got 185 miles left. That's a bit of a faff to be able to switch between the two. I've done 54 miles and I'm averaging 225 watt-hours per mile, so 0.2 kilowatt hours per mile. Let's see how the other guys are doing. Tesla Model 3 Performance, what is your remaining battery percentage?
Battery is 81% remaining, and that's giving me a distance of 250 miles.
And what is your power usage so far?
Power usage is 264 watt-hours per mile.
A little bit more than me, but not that much. Okay then, Polestar, how are you doing?
I have left 68% of battery, and that is 170 miles of range.
Oh dear, already it's looking like you may drop out first. So what is your energy consumption?
At the moment it is 36.1 kilowatt hours per 100 miles.
I mean, we've basically been driving along in convoy. The energy use of that is just way more than these Teslas.
That's quite a lot. It's an extra 100 watt-hours per mile, pretty much.
Now, one thing I should point out is that as part of the updates for these latest generation Tesla Model 3s, they're fitted with a heat pump. So rather than just using a heater element, which just uses loads of battery power to keep the cabin warm, it actually scavenges heat energy from different parts of the car which produce heat, and then uses that to help improve the heat in the car. Just does it more efficiently. It's little bits like that where Tesla just thought of ways to manage the battery use better. I'm going to leave the motorway here because I actually want to try this Tesla in town, see what it's like, how comfy it is over bumps, all that kind of things. I've got this Tesla set up so it will actually come to a complete halt when you lift off the accelerator. You'll slow down with regen braking, so it'll recoup lost energy, put it back into the battery, and it will let you stop completely. The regenerative braking on this Model 3 isn't adjustable. When I lift off, it's fairly strong, but in certain circumstances I might want it to be a bit stronger. On a Model S you can change it. They don't allow you here. They want to get more money from you to enable such features. To drive in town though, this is nice. To be fair, this car is reasonably light for an electric car this size. It weighs about 1,650 kilos. I also like the visibility that you get out of the Tesla. You don't sit up high like in an SUV, but the view out the front screen is really good because you've got a very low dash. Makes it easier to see what's going on. Now I'm going to have a little drive in the Polestar 2. See what it's like in town compared to that Tesla. Look, there's some potholes here. Ooh. And you know what? Right away I can tell it's not as comfortable over bumps as the Tesla. Reason is, it's fitted with stiffer suspension. It has to be because this car is heavy. It weighs over 2,100 kilos. So they need stiffer suspension to stop it leaning in the bends. Right, I'm going to go into one pedal driving mode and I'll have creep off. Let's see what the regen's like when I lift off. It just slows you down a bit quicker than the Tesla's regenerative braking, which makes it easier still to drive one pedal mode. And of course you can alter it between standard and low. So now it's slowing down a bit more steadily. Put it into standard. Oh yeah, you can really feel the difference. That makes it easy to drive. The view you get when you sat in the Tesla is just nicer because of that big wraparound windscreen. You feel more cocooned in this. It feels more like a normal car. Personally, the interior design, I prefer this Polestar 2 than the Tesla Model 3. The Tesla is very minimalist, which is nice, but this is more interesting. The quality in here is better than the Tesla. I like the fact that you've got normal instruments in front of you. Yeah, of course it's a digital screen, but it's right in front of you where it should be. Get someone nervous in the Tesla having to look across all the time to see how fast I'm doing and all that kind of thing. You just be able to look down quickly from the road. I think overall, I prefer the infotainment system ever so slightly in this. It's less distracting being dark. It's slightly easier to use. It's like the fact that I can just alter the steering like that. You're not having to mess around in menus. It's much better. Back on the M25 again. Let's do a range check because, oh dear, things aren't quite as rosy in this Polestar as they were in the Tesla. So I've got 55% of the battery left, 130 miles of range, and I've been doing 0.36 kilowatts per mile. Let's check in with the other guys. Tesla normal rear wheel drive. What are you doing? How much battery you got? What's your range? And how much energy usage?
So at the moment I have 155 miles of range left and it's reading 233 watt-hours per mile.
Let's see what the performance model's doing.
I'm feeling fairly smug. I've still got 223 miles of range and I'm averaging 264 watt-hours per mile.
What percentage battery you got left? It's got to go through his menus now. Wait for it.
That's on 72% battery.
How about in the normal car?
I have 61% of battery left.
Let me tell you a little bit about this Polestar 2. So it starts at just under £50,000, which means it qualifies for the government grant. So it's £47,000 on the road, which is still £7,000 more than that entry-level Tesla Model 3. However, you do get two motors instead of one, so it is all-wheel drive. You get a lot more power, 408 horsepower, and 660 newton meters of torque, but obviously it's hamstrung by the extra weight, so the difference in performance between the two isn't quite so much. I'm doing 50, I'm going to accelerate now. There's more of a shove into the back of your seat, but it's not such a huge difference as you might imagine. So it's a 78 kilowatt hour battery, though the usable capacity is actually 75 kilowatts. We were charging these cars up before we went, and we went to some Ionity chargers. This car's supposed to be able to charge at 150 kilowatts. That Ionity charger that we were using was supposed to charge at up to 350 kilowatts, but no, we didn't have that. The maximum this would charge at was 35 kilowatts. I think it must have been something to do with either the car or the charger itself. That was when it was at 60% battery, so it should have been able to charge at a higher rate. And as it got close to being 100% full, it just then slowed all the way down to like 4 kilowatts. The Tesla that we were charging, the normal range version, it was actually more depleted in terms of its battery, but then it came past and it just seemed to charge at a higher rate for longer than this Polestar. Battery management, Tesla is better. We're coming up to Cobham services, so that's one full lap of the M25. I'm going to get off here because I need another toilet break. We've done 129 miles. This thing's doing 0.36 kilowatts per mile. Oh, I've just reset the computer and it doesn't have it from last charge. Brilliant, that's just an arse wipe. It was 129 miles. Remember that, we're gonna have to work this out. Anyway, let's see how the other cars are doing. I've got 29% of battery remaining after one lap of the M25, which says it's a range of 65 miles. How are you doing in the Tesla Model 3 entry-level car?
So I got 92 miles left in battery. It's reading 224 watt-hours.
Okay, so quite a lot better. How about the Model 3 performance?
So after one lap of the M25, I've got 163 miles remaining, which is 53%, and I've averaged 271 watt-hours.
Teslas are smashing it. Joining the motorway again in the Tesla Model 3 performance, and this will give me the opportunity to actually illustrate its performance. I'm going to get up to 50 miles an hour, then accelerate up to 70. See how quick this is. Right, floor it. Woohoo! That's great for joining the motorway or for overtaking things. Noticeably more shove than that Polestar 2. Like the Polestar 2, you've got two motors, one on the front, one on the rear axle, so all-wheel drive, but combined they produce 462 horsepower. Interestingly, you have less torque though, 639 newton meters, but it just feels more responsive. But that's because this car is lighter. It's just over 1,800 kilos, which is heavier obviously than the entry-level Tesla Model 3, but quite a bit lighter than the Polestar 2 still, and that affects its range capability. This car has 140 miles remaining. I'm at 43% of battery. Switch that back. And it says I've done 147.7 miles, used 42 kilowatts. We're averaging 286 watts. That's all right, it's doing well. Let's see how the other cars are doing. So how is the Tesla Model 3 Standard Range Plus doing?
I have 60 miles left in the battery, which is 24%, and I'm doing 234 watt-hours.
How about the Polestar? I bet you're not doing quite so well.
30 miles of range left, 15% of the battery, and that is an average of 39.3.
You might be leaving first, I do feel.
Certainly agree with you on that one.
So far, I'm pretty impressed with this Model 3 performance, but you do have to pay for it. £56,500. Obviously, that number doesn't include the government grant because you can't get it on the car because it costs over 50 grand. So once again, being a Tesla, the actual battery size isn't listed, but the general consensus is that it's an 82 kilowatt hour battery.
Hi guys, I've got a bit of a problem.
What's the matter?
Reduced power due to low battery charge.
I don't mean to be smug, but I've got over 100 miles of range left. How much have you got in the standard range plus?
Left 33 miles of range, and my power has also been cutting quite rapidly. I'm getting a little bit nervous here, so I think I'm going to be leaving you in a second.
What range have you got left?
I've got 9 miles left, but it's restricting power. Empty battery, plug in the car now.
So here's your exit then, Polestar 2. Thanks for coming along.
I'd say it's been a pleasure. You boys enjoy the rest of your evening.
Right, that's him gone. It's between the two Teslas. Model 3 Standard Range Plus, how are you doing for range?
I have 11 miles left, which is 4% of the battery, and I'm still doing around 222 watt-hours.
What's your plan?
My exit is literally in 2 miles, and I'm leaving, and I'm trying to make it a supercharger. We'll see.
How far is it to the supercharger?
So the supercharger is 17 miles away. That's pretty tough.
It's 17 miles away, and you've got 11 miles of range left.
Yes, that's correct.
Well, this is your junction. I'm gonna let you go. I'm continuing on the M25. There he goes. Hope you make it. Are you brave or are you stupid? Oh, got a phone call. It's the Polestar 2. Hi, Richard. What happened?
It just quite predictably kept losing power. It went 12 miles beyond its 0 range.
Did it lock up its wheels or does it allow you to push it?
It hasn't locked up. I can select neutral on the car.
So then, in the end, how far did the Polestar 2 go before conking out?
In total, 197.1 miles.
So just 68% of what it's supposed to do. And what was your energy consumption?
It'd be 380 watt-hours per mile.
Hey, Kins, how you doing, mate? You all right?
I just died.
You mean the car just died?
So the car just gets slower and slower.
How many miles did it do?
280.6 miles.
79% of the range. And the other question is, how many kilowatts did it use?
49 kilowatts. So it averaged out about 222 watt-hours.
Here we are then, coming to Cobham services yet again. So that's 2 full laps of the M25. So I've got 15 miles of range left. I think it's about 16 or 17 miles to that supercharger. There's been a development. I've got no miles of range left. I'm about to leave the motorway to go to this charger. So supercharger is just in here apparently, to the left at the Hilton Hotel. No, what do I do here? There's a barrier there. Please use other machine. Okay, I don't understand this. Drop off for free. Okay. I'm dropping off. Can I have it for free? Well, I'm not actually, I'm charging, aren't I? Will it take me directly to the supercharger? Let's have a look. Oh, look at this! It's like Tesla heaven. There's loads of superchargers. Oh, I'm fine. I've got the ability to keep on going, so I'm gonna keep on going. So we hit 0 miles at 274. We're now at 278.8 miles. Still going. I'm sick of going round and round and round. I'm gonna have to turn round and go the other way, see if that will help me out. Just felt another drop off in power. I got my foot to the floor and it's doing 20. We must be close now. It's really good how it steadily decreases the power. Vehicle shutting down. Let's see if we can get to the charger. Oh, come on! Come on. This is it. It's pretty much dead. I'm going to get to a supercharger. Oh, it's starting to shudder. It is shuddering. Oh, and that's it. It's literally just stopped. And I need to reverse. Let me reverse. No, I need to reverse into place. In order to be able to push it, I need to put it into tow mode. Right, that's the brake off, I think. Oh, come on. Come on. Get, yeah. Right, let's put it in park. Woohoo! We've done it. So the car did, on a full charge, 286.1 miles. It averaged 270 watts per mile, so that's 0.27 kilowatt per mile. And the battery capacity used was 77 kilowatt hours. So that's the available capacity of the battery in a Tesla Model 3 Performance. So 81% of the claimed range. So this not only went the furthest, it actually got closest to its claimed range as well in terms of percentage. So what's my final verdict on this? In terms of range, this car won. In terms of looks, the Polestar 2, I prefer it, both on the outside and the inside. But really, the Teslas are better to drive and they give a better range. Which offers the best value? Well, I would say probably the entry-level Tesla Model 3. It goes far enough and it's quite a bit cheaper than this Performance. Overall, the winner for me is the entry-level Tesla Model 3 Standard Range Plus. That would be the one that I'd buy. Then this Performance model, and then lastly, the Polestar 2. Now I'm going to charge it up. And I'm at a supercharger, so it will be quick. Well, that's the car charging, and it's doing it at a rate of 145 kilowatts, which is pretty decent. And after all, these are the older generation version of Tesla superchargers. There are newer versions which can charge even quicker. But this is the thing for me with Teslas. The infrastructure is just better, and that could be a deal breaker. Now, it's going to take 40 minutes till the battery's full, but I'm not going to hang around that long and wait till it's 80% full, then just head off home. Because after all, it's getting late.